going on, everybody? Welcome to another World of Warships video. Today we're going to be looking at the Hosho, Tier 4 Japanese aircraft carrier. Just after the turn of the new year, there was a series of missions that gave you a bunch of bonuses to carrier XP and shit like that. So I figured, screw it, I'll take out my my Japanese carrier. I really haven't played this thing since I unlocked it, like forever ago, and I really need to play this thing more, because if I ever have any intention of getting down the Japanese carrier line, I'm going to have to grind down this thing eventually. And she's a pretty good ship. For Tier 4, you learn to master your carrier striking abilities with this ship pretty early on, especially with a matchup like this. Early on here, I accidentally dodged a strafing run from the enemy carrier and proceeded to hunt him down and annihilate all of his fighters. There's 2 carriers on each team, and I'm pretty sure that all of us were outfitted for strike. So, very interesting dynamic. There's not a whole lot of air superiority going on, and I believe each of us only has 1 fighter squadron per ship, so we kind of have to work together as we gang up on this enemy fighter group and proceed to shoot them down out of the sky. My ally, though, taking a lot of casualties in the process. However, we did come out victorious as we zoom in there for some very scenic shots with my fighter group. And if you notice on the map, one thing though, I do play the majority of my carrier games with the mini-map. I know a lot of carrier captains use the main map as their primary focus, like such as this view here. I can't stand that view personally. I like to really get down and be sort of on ground level. So I'm diverting my torpedo bombers on a very wide flank and decided to bring them in closer because I'm not really detecting anything over here. The majority of both teams is made up of Tier 3 cruisers and battleships, so this is like a carrier's wet dream. My fighters intercepting their fighters as my torpedo bombers move in here to start lining up their runs on this slew of enemy ships. And it's at this point I noticed that the enemy's carrier is right up in there amongst all these battleships. Nothing I can really do about it now. I don't want to sail in between all these ships because there is AA guns on these ships, as pitiful as they are. So I have 1 bomber group going up there to bomb the Tenryu. Unfortunately, I don't know what the hell happened. There was some sort of weird fucking thing with the computer AI, but I dropped my torpedoes over land. So yeah, did not know that that was something that can happen. But out of all this, I managed to get 1 torpedo on target, taking out the steering of that carrier. I'm assuming he immediately repairs it. And in turn, I lose a good bit of fighters and bombers in return. I lost an entire fighter squadron engaged with the enemy fighters. You can notice the enemy fighter squadron there was on half health, so they did do a substantial amount of damage before they were jugged down. And that fighter squadron proceeded to wipe out that torpedo bomber squadron as they made their way back to the ship. This is a Tier 4 carrier. It was a Tier 5 carrier's fighter group that wiped them out. I'm not sure if that's a bow. No, it's Tier 4. So why did I have a 5 above it? Maybe I just can't read. I don't know. So yeah, that's that. Short time later, I get everybody rearmed and refueled, and getting fresh fighters up in the air and sending them down to babysit a cruiser while my torpedo bombers rearm and refit. I am detected by air around this point, and diverting my course here to kind of swing it back over here to provide an AA bubble with my friendly carrier, and then move it back east, because it looks like the enemy is pushing on the west, and I don't really want to be over here. That is one thing that I will say probably distinguishes me from most other carrier captains, is I am capable of moving my ship. Notice how my friendly carrier, Manuel FC down there, is just sitting still. Why? Why would you ever want to be sitting still in any sort of ship? I don't understand why carrier captains just never seem to move their ships. It just blows my mind. Driving off that squadron of fighters, and as I pursue the squadron of fighters back towards the center of the map, I catch sight of his torpedo bombers. I'm not going to be able to really do anything about it. I'm trying to line up a strafing run, however, it's just not gonna happen. Pursuing the torpedo bombers back towards the middle of the map, but I'm wise enough to break off. I don't want to get caught up in any of that AA. My torpedo bombers are now grouping up, and they're proceeding down the sea line. Looks like the enemy's bombers are heading up the sea line as well. It's a shame that our bombers can't shoot it out with each other. I have my fighters over here. And here I was going for a strafing run, but it was going to cause my fighters to peel off and realign themselves, so I just said screw it and just focus them on the torpedo bombers. As my torpedo bombers converge on that enemy Nassau. So I'm shooting down these bombers left and right. I'm not outfitted for air superiority, but I get a pretty healthy amount of aerial kills in this game. So right now we are in the lead. We only lost 3 ships. The enemy's lost 5, including a carrier. I suspect it was probably that moron that was sailing straight up into the middle of the map. Somehow he managed to get 2 kills on his carrier before he got drugged down. No idea how. Lining up in South Carolina now, just a regular plain old torpedo spread, nothing too fancy. My other bomber squadron is proceeding pretty much unchallenged, so we're going to go hunt down the enemy carrier as he is now spotted. Getting a torpedo hit on the South Carolina, and my other torpedoes bomber squadron now converging on the Langley as he senses danger, but again, he was just sitting stationary in the bottom corner of the map. If he would have been moving from the beginning of the game, he would have been nowhere near this location, and I never would have got this opportunity to launch this strike on him. If he would have kept up with the remainder of his ships, this never would have happened to him. To his credit, though, he was a capable enough commander to maneuver correctly, which is more that I can say about the enemy battleships coming up later in this replay. Only scoring 1 torpedo hit on him, doing a nice healthy chunk of damage, which of course he repairs any module damage or anything. Well, no, actually I didn't inflict anything like that on him at all. So yeah, only scoring about 8k damage on him. So enemy battleship goes up down there. The enemy managing to peel back the scores. We're running almost neck and neck here. My fighters are now landing on my carrier. I'm running a special camo. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, though, but it gives you 333% to your commander XP, topped with my dragon flag, giving me another 333% commander XP. I'm hoping to at least rank up once in this replay, because things are looking pretty good for me right now. Torpedo bomber squadrons are landing on the deck, while the other squadron is going to be holding position, waiting for the other bomber squadron to launch. I decided to split them up initially, but then I realized that the enemy is really pushing this left flank, and I need to converge them over here. We have a Dane that I really want to sink. I would like to get that cruiser dealt with, because he's one of the only ships left on the enemy team that's capable of spotting my my carrier or my allied carrier. However, he's kind of a slippery fish, so I'm going to converge on that Nassau, because I'm guaranteed to at least score a hit or 2 on that Nassau. Bringing over my other torpedo bomber squadron as well. Going for a focus shot on him, and that looks like it's going to be a wise decision. He is trying to maneuver, but it is too little too late. 2 hits on him, knocking out his steering, causing 2 flooding damage. He's more than likely going to be able to repair that, as I'm lining up my other torpedo bomber squadron on this Dane. And to this guy's credit, Old Navy 89, when I get back into the game, I'm going to have to compliment you if I can do that. He's a very capable crew. Wait a minute. That Nassau is still flooding. Oh dear. oh dear. Sorry about that. Yeah. No, actually, no. Sorry, not sorry. Really badly aimed torpedo strike here on that Dane. But I mean, he was a very, very slippery fish. Here we go. My ally dropping dive bombers on him, missing with that. Coming in now with another torpedo bomber squadron as my ally comes in with his torpedo bombers, dropping them suicide close. He's able to dodge them. I did not know he was going to be dropping them that close, so of course this badly aimed spread is going to miss as well. A short while later, coming in with another squadron, this one tightly focused. I would try to anticipate his turning circle. Turns out I anticipated correctly. Looks like he's going to steer straight into that lead one, and
holy shit.
Wow. Nice. Nice job, Dane. Nice job. So, alright. Screw that cruiser. It's time to focus our efforts somewhere else where they're more needed. In the space and time it took me to try to deal with that Dane, I realized that it is now just me and the other friendly carrier against 2 battleships and a cruiser. Working in our favor is the fact that we are up on cap points and time. There's only 5 minutes left on the clock. You'll be surprised how fast 5 minutes will go by. Also working in our favor is that the cruiser and the battleships are not working together. They are on opposite ends of the map. I'm using my fighter squadron. Try that again. I'm using my fighter squadron to try and keep the Dane spotted while I move my torpedo bombers down to engage these enemy battleships. Nice, dumb, slow-moving Tier 3 battleships. Oh, nom 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 nom. Actually, the Miyogi's a Tier 4, so there's that. But still, AA is not something that a battleship is known for at Tier 4 unless you're in a Wyoming, and even then, it's nothing to really brag about. First spread going in on this Nassau. Oh, yes. Didn't even bother to try a maneuver, scoring 2 hits on him, causing flooding damage. Is he going to repair it? Yes, it is. My damage meter stopped ticking. Second torpedo bomber squadron coming in now. We're going to go ahead and prioritize a Miyogi. Get that fucker sunk. I was going to split my fire initially, but then I decided, no, we really need to start killing ships, and killing ships quickly. That's the only way we're going to win this. Scoring 1, 2, 3 big hits, and then my ally scoring another torpedo hit on him, causing flooding damage. And for a second here, I thought my ally was going to score another torpedo hit on that Nassau. Luckily, the Nassau captain has figured out where his steering wheel is and is able to maneuver his ship out of harm's way, as the Miyogi continues to take flooding damage from the multitude of holes that's been punctured into her flank. And oh, this is going to be spectacular. Make that damage meter climb. Any second now. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Nothing that they could really do. I mean, what do you do if you're a Nassau captain at this point and you have 2 carriers prioritizing you down? Bro, what are you going to do? That Dane, to his credit, tried the Cap B to at least peel back the points lead that we have on them, but too little too late. He would have been better served probably trying to hunt us down, because with his level of naval salesmanship or whatever, steering expertise, whatever, his level of competency as a cruiser captain, he probably would have stood a good chance. Oh, there's a Confederate. But he probably would have stood a good chance at killing at least one of us. And then there might have been enough time on the clock to cap C. But I mean, hey, hindsight's 20/20, and you know, kudos and medals all around. Oh, there's a high caliber because I'm scoring flooding on that Nassau. Over 100,000 damage now done in a Tier 4 carrier. Can you believe it? I mean, Christ, can you believe it? Trying to line up a precision shot on this Nassau, and got a little greedy. I should have just went for a regular old bombing run, because my friendly carrier is going to get the killing blow here on Noxic Entity. Here comes my spread, but yeah. And there we go. Ball game. Nothing the Dane can really do at this point. There's like 60 points left on the clock. The Dane is moving up. Yeah, at the last second, well, not the last second, he's probably moving his way over here as soon as he saw that the battleships were in danger, but too little too late, and that's game. That's 2,310 XP for the ship, 172,000 credits, not bad. A Confederate and a high caliber, which I'm pretty sure not very many people could say they've earned at a Hosho. Hosho. Let's go ahead and look at the team score here. Yeah. Damage these 4 enemy ships, causing damage to exceed at least 30% of their total HP. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, of course, the carrier resolution, commander boosts, all the nice little things going up there. Second on the team? You gotta be kidding me. A South Carolina scored higher than me? Whatever. That's alright. It's alright. Dealing over 40k damage to that Miyogi. That's crazy. Flooded the hell out of him, causing 6 floods for 44,000 damage. 69,000 damage done with my 11 torpedo hits. I don't think I've ever scored that many torpedo hits in a carrier game before. But my U.S. carriers are outfitted for air superiority, not for strike. So this is something new for me. Let's look at the Commander XP. I got 13,799 Commander XP. Holy shit. The Commander boost thing plus the 4 to win FTW camo. That's it. Yeah, Nearly 5k XP there, nearly 5k XP for the Dragon flag, 75 XP for my Military Month Contributor flag. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I got my rank point. At least I'm happy about that. That's freaking sweet. That is freaking sweet. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a like down below if you liked it. Comment if you got a comment or question on that jazz. As always, have fun doing whatever it is you're doing. Do it to the best of your ability. Enjoy the credit roll, and I will see you when I see you. Take care.